Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. We're here at Stir Kitchen Store, downtown Burlington with Laura Bilchuk, and we are talking about some of the fun, little latest and greatest in kitchen gadgets, from really, somewhat cost-effective to some really expensive little guys that people just love. So we'll get to the Vitamix blender in a bit, but obviously you guys have officially recovered from Christmas where everybody goes crazy, and it's always nice to give somebody a kitchen gadget, right? Because there are so many things out there.
Absolutely.
Right? But okay, so let's talk about how special these are and why they're better than just the average grinder you can buy.
Well, this is the line of Peugeot pepper and salt mills. And the first thing about this is that they're made in France, and they have a lifetime warranty on the mechanism. So if anything ever goes wrong with it, you can, bring it into any retailer and they would replace the product for you.
Wow, and they're beautiful colors too, right? I mean, they're solid. They have a nice look to them. And you know what? And some people are like, okay, so it's, salt and pepper milk, but some people are very particular about, it looks nice in your kitchen, it's nice to have out, and it's functional and it works. And as you say, the grinding mechanism isn't going to just wear down on you, because that does happen on the cheap guys.
Absolutely.
Right?
And a couple other things about this product is, this is called a U-Select mill. So this one you can actually change the grind. So you can go from a fine to a coarse grind and within seconds, and it reacts as soon as you make that change to it.
Oh, that's cool. So those are great gift ideas, and any time of year for anybody, but just really something that hey, you know what, looks nice, colors are good. So let's move on and talk about nowadays a lot of people have their own personal wine collections in their homes, even if it's just a small cooler that just holds 20 bottles, or some people have a full basement that's just completely decked out as a wine cellar. But lots of really cool wine gadgets nowadays. So let's talk about the Venturi.
So the Venturi was sort of the first red wine aerator on the market, and everybody's sort of been, copying that a little bit. So you've seen a few more varieties out there nowadays. So the Venturi it's very simple. You just take this unit and you hold it over your wine glass and you just pour straight through. And instead of having to, have a decanter on the table, which is taking up space and it takes a little bit more time, this is an immediate result to having a nice,
having to open a bottle
wine.
And let it sit for hours with your friends are there. Hey, you've officially kind of progressed the wine a little bit.
Absolutely. So. And you can take sort of an inexpensive wine and really add value to it in the way that it tastes going through
trick your friends.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a fine bottle of wine. Just let me run it through the Venturi. Okay, so and let's talk about this up here.
This is the Vino Ice. Again, this unit is for white wine. Okay. And you take that rod and you put it in the freezer and you chill it for several hours. And then when you're putting your wine out on the table, you bring this out, put it right inside the bottle and connect the pour to it, and then it keeps your white wine chilled.
I haven't seen one quite like that before.
Yeah, it's a beautiful unit. You could take it on outings too, because it's a fairly compact size.
And that's actually great because again, people who do have even a formal wine cellar, sometimes it's still not up to temperature, even though the wine, because you have it more set for your reds, or if that moderate temperature, right? So that'll just give it a quick extra chill, just to
absolutely. And I think red wine was. Everybody was into their red wines, but people are really starting to move back to the white wines, just being a little bit lighter tasting, not as heavy as your red wines.
Yeah, it's nice to have both, especially some people who, a lot of times people who drink red will drink red or white, but people who drink white sometimes just don't go to the reds, do
absolutely.
They get a little shy away from that. Okay, and so we'll move, so this is, again, a similar version of that?
This is the Vino Ice that's in here in the packaging.
Oh, I see.
This is the red wine aerator. What we have is a couple different price points. This is a little bit higher end, but we brought in the Trudeau aerating pour, and this one clips right to the top of the wine bottle, and again aerates immediately, and then you can pour through.
Okay, all right, okay. So let's get down to this guy. So this is the Vitamix, and Vitamix has been around for a very, very long time, and obviously they've kind of continued to tweak the system, so it's at its most highest performance possible at this point. So why would someone want to get a Vitamix versus a regular blender?
So there's a couple reasons. Most of the customers coming in to get the Vitamix have had the traditional blenders, but because they're juicing or making their smoothies, on a regular basis, sometimes 3 to 5 times a day, that blender's not keeping up. This is, the Vitamix is made in the USA, and it has a 7-year warranty on it. And it really is this is the top of the line. This is the Professional 500 series, and they do have other models, so a little less expensive. But this one has some extra little features that maybe the next unit down doesn't have.
Okay, so we're talking about high speed. Very high speed versus
absolutely.
the average blender.
Correct.
And you were also mentioning, besides the fact that some people who are making smoothies these days are putting in kale. I mean, spinach breaks down pretty easily, but kale is tough sometimes. So you need a blender that's functioning high, or you're going to get major coarse pieces from kale. So you need to have something like this to really get through a lot of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is just taking that job and making it that much easier. You can take your cold vegetables and throw them in there, and it will actually heat it up into a soup. So it takes peanut butters or peanut to peanut butter, and it takes sugars into powdered sugars. It can knead dough. It can do your sorbets, and
wow. So it can make a sorbet in there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
so there's many uses for it.
So now, I mean, we don't have to mention price points, but for this is.
It really is. The price?
Yeah.
So this one's $699.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some people are like, at home, I could buy a blender for $100 and something or $200. So, but again, this is taking you, if you can make a hot soup right in there, and again, if you're using a blender on a regular basis and you're going through, as you say, being only a kitchen store, people are coming in and having to replace blenders this will take you for a long time.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the other fact with this, you can put in a whole apple. Like, you don't even have to take the cores out. You can, get that nutrition from that.
For sure.
Yes, exactly.
From the seeds and everything.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about your cooking classes as well, because this is one thing that we know here down on Brand Street, that you guys have cooking classes, even knife sharpening classes.
Yes. So our cooking classes start up at the beginning of February again, and they run weekly, and we usually do them on a Thursday night, but we're always adding new classes in. And we also have our hands-on classes, and they take place on a Saturday, where you're actually working with the chef and preparing the meal, and you're still having a full meal, but you're learning some really great skills, like new skills. So
and people love that, right? Even people who are really accomplished in the kitchen still like to come and learn and get some new ideas. So how would someone register for that then?
They would either go to our website and just see what we have coming up, or call us at the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, a beautiful store. It's all laid out nicely. So many different gadgets, and you can help people out if they're coming in to buy new knives, great knives for your kitchen. You've got them all laid out, and you guys can take them through all the steps.
Oh, absolutely. And we use this kitchen, and they can actually use their knives and slice and dice and get a feel, for the knife that works best for them.
Well, thanks, Laura. All right, we're going to
you.
be back here a little bit later on, because we're going to be cooking in this kitchen with Chef Rachel. We'll be back in a few.
Live color fully at TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Jason Brown of Brown's Martial Arts in Waterdown, and thanks for letting us into your studio. And,
You're very welcome.
We have a bunch of kids here behind us today. They get to skip out on school a little bit today, so it's kind of fun. But we want to talk about martial arts for kids from little, and then all the way up to the big kids, the adults, right? So how young can you start?
We actually start at age 3.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay, so my little guy just turned 4, and I think about that. So what would you do with a 3-year-old coming in here?
I think with a 3-year-old, it's more social development at that point, just getting them to meet some new friends, learn a new activity. Not a lot of activities out there do start at age 3.
That's true.
And we also work just on respect, from small things in martial arts, bowing into the classroom, bowing to your instructor, yes sir, yes ma'am, when they're in class, and also just some coordination, balance drills, fine motor skills with their hands, things like that. So it's a really good program. I have 3, excuse me, I have 3 children myself, 3 boys. And they all started at the age of 3 as well. So
wow, so
it's been great for them.
It firsthand, right?
Yeah.
And so I think one also thing is their structure, right?
Yes.
It gives them some sense of structure, because some people will say, "Oh, my kid is just so wild and crazy," and but as you say, when they're coming in and learning respect and learning just a few rules here and there, which some kids haven't yet to be in any school program. Maybe they've just been at home with their moms, their dads. So this is going to give them something, as you say, socializing them. But also giving structure.
And I'd like to say that's a very common assessment or concern from parents. So if anybody out there has that concern, we hear it all the time. And total opposite is true. It gives them an outlet. We try to teach them to respect what they're learning. And you see the kids that are in the program for a little while, they really understand what martial arts is all about, and they do have more respect for what they're learning here, for sure.
So parents who are concerned and think that their child who is already aggressive, maybe has aggressive nature, that they're going to come out of here and punch more and hit more. That's not the way it goes.
It's not the way it goes.
No.
It's like I said, it's the total opposite.
Yep.
They get a great outlet for it. We do a lot of talking in class, and not just the physical aspect, but also talking about bully proofing, things like that. And if they're more aware of what bullies are doing out there, they're less likely to become one themselves. So that's important to us.
I think that's a really important part, especially with all the concerns that we have right now. So we come in, and as a little one, and as they start to progress, they still go through the graduating from belt to belt, just as you would as a teenager or an adult.
We do it a little bit different. We do have a Little Dragons program, and that's ages 3 to 6. Because we're not going to give away a black belt to a 6-year-old. That's not what we're about, but it's giving them a base for them to succeed in the kids program. So when they are 6 or 7, they do move up to the next program, and that's where they would start the traditional Taekwondo belt system.
Okay, that makes sense. And so at least it gives them some goals, right?
Absolutely.
And then they can see little ones around them, even a year older at that age. That's quite a significant difference.
That's right.
Hitting some points, right?
And I think the belt system in martial arts is why it has been so successful. It does teach the goal setting, teaches perseverance to see your way through that goal, and also gives them a lot of confidence. It's an individual sport or art, and everything that they achieve here is on their own. So each belt that they achieve, they get some great feedback, great confidence, and our goal is create great black belts.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the average class is how long?
The average class is 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, some more advanced students will do a 1-hour class, and they might be doing some work with the bow staff. That's a weapon that we use. So they do some routines and stuff with that. But your average class is 45 minutes. Half-hour class for a 3-year-old, so it's a little bit shorter.
That's good though.
Yeah,
Smart.
try to keep
Their
the pace
attention
up.
spans.
Absolutely, we try to keep the pace up and have a good, exciting class for those guys. Yeah.
Now the other aspect of this whole thing is exercise as well, right? So they're getting this training, but I mean, we talk also, a big concern beside bullying is obesity in children and a lack of exercise. Kids going after school, going home and sitting in front of a TV. Instead, you guys actually, you can go and pick them up here in Waterdown. You pick them up from their schools.
We do.
And bring them right here, and that just sort of leaves that gap, right? Oh, no more after school watching TV. You get to come here.
Well, that's the beauty of the program. They come from the school, they get their activity in, so when the parents pick them up, it's done.
It's done.
They can go home, they can have family time. Whereas before, they're running back out
Yes.
to do another activity.
That's a good point. 'Cause-
You know?
Yeah, that's right. So they come home, everybody eats fast and furiously, and then
Yes.
has to go out to some activity, and then they get home at 8 or 9 at night. So
Yeah.
that is a really great
Yeah, it's
idea.
the best of both worlds.
It is.
And we start at usually age 6. Now, if they have a family member that might be a little bit younger than that, we might take them in.
Okay.
But we create a little bit more mature atmosphere, and we find that especially the older kids, between maybe 6 and 10 years old, they really like our program for that reason.
I
yeah.
can see that. Now, as we move, towards spring and then summer, you also have summer camps
Yes,
as
we
well
do.
for
Yep.
kids. So even if, what if a child has never taken martial arts before? Can they
Perfect
still come to the summer
opportunity.
camp?
Yeah, we have lots of new beginners.
Okay.
In 2013, we're going to try to do a summer camp every week. Yeah, so
That'll keep you guys
yeah,
happy. And
so
it
we're
runs
gonna-
through just 1 week straight.
we're going to try to do 9 weeks in a row, and so a lot of the kids that will use the camps through the summer as a form of maybe childcare, they will come here for the 9 weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
So now you also do competitions as well.
We do, yeah.
Okay, so when would a child start competing at what age roughly?
So a student can start competing at pretty much any age. They have divisions for 6 and under, and all different belt ranges as well.
amazing.
We have some students in the background here that are national champions. Had a few that competed at the World Championships this year and did great and took some medals there. Myself, I still actively compete as well.
Oh, that's good, and that's
Yeah.
good for them to see you doing that too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
so I've been competing for just over 10 years, so I try to do it to set a good example
Yeah.
for the students, and
Yeah.
I attended the World Championships with them as well, and
isn't
won a
that
gold
neat?
medal this year.
Oh,
So yeah,
congratulations!
yeah, thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really, really
Yeah.
good. Because again, as they say, now that brings us into the adults. So adults can come too. Now, what if adults
Absolutely.
never took it as a child? Can
That's
they still
fine.
come?
Yeah. Again, it's a progressive program. So we start, if you're a white belt, we start with the basics.
Yes.
Right? So we're building that good base, whether it's physical fitness
Yes.
or the martial arts, building technique. But we start from ground zero and work our way up. So our goal is, again, is to create a good black belt. But that's not going to happen in one day.
Right,
So
right.
we start with the basics and work our way up. Yeah.
And and adults, both men and women, invited to come and shouldn't be intimidated at all because,
No.
as you say, starting from the basics, it really is. You're learning all the foundation of
Yeah.
martial arts, right?
And I think too, it creates a lot of camaraderie. As an adult, it's hard to get out there and find new friends. So we have a great environment here. All the students are friends. Some will go out after class together and things like that. So it's a great opportunity to meet people as well.
Yeah.
And I also think it has a big advantage over the fitness industry, because usually when somebody goes to a gym, they don't set any goals.
Yes,
In the martial
this is
arts,
true.
we have,
And they get
again,
bored.
we have that belt system, and those small steps help them achieve a longer goal, which
Yeah.
might be black belt, which takes maybe about 4 to 6 years.
Right.
So for somebody to stay in a fitness program for 4 to 6 years isn't that common,
No, it's
but
not.
it's very common in martial arts.
I love that. Well, let's mention your website then.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, our website is brownsmartialarts.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're right here up in Waterdown,
We are.
right on Franklin Road, right off Highway 5,
Yep.
and easy to find and a great place.
Absolutely.
And good social for
Yeah.
kids, all family, the whole family.
That's right.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks, Jason.
Great.
More Terra at home after this.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning. Welcome back to Terra at Home at Stir Kitchens in Burlington on Brant Street, and we're here with Chef Rachel. What are we making today?
Today we're going to do a pasta, so it's a Cajun Chicken Pasta.
Oh, okay. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Lots of ingredients that are going in here, some pancetta, some vegetables, tomato sauce. Finish it off with a little bit of sour cream.
Oh.
Make it a little creamy tomato
Okay.
sauce.
Sounds good.
Okay, so get my pan heating as usual, because we're gonna start sauteing these vegetables. I put a little bit of oil in the pan, but you don't need a whole lot because you're gonna get some of the fat from the bacon, the pancetta.
Yep.
So,
All right.
start with a couple cloves of chopped garlic. Okay.
Okay.
Making pasta is a lot of fun.
That's what I'm
do so
starting.
much
I'm
with
starting
it.
to get a little bit more brave after doing so many cooking segments and that. I'm starting to. Okay, all right. Now I can kind of add this and that, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily always have to follow a really strict recipe, right?
No, yeah,
It's, you can kind of just throw in sometimes what you have, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the great thing about it is that it's kind of one of those dishes where you get all your leftovers from the fridge and do up a nice pasta. Or we do that at home too when we make stir fries. We get all our extra vegetables and meat that we have and stir
A few
fry
base ingredients and you're good to go, right? Like pasta. Actually have the noodle.
Yeah, and you can play around with the sauce and stuff too. So you just have to let this cook a little bit. I like my pancetta to be a little on the more well done side, a little crispier, so that'll take a couple minutes.
I agree.
But basically, you can buy pancetta in a bunch of different ways. You can ask at the meat counter for them to slice it for you, and you just want to get maybe like a half an inch thick or so.
Okay.
And then it comes in, round slices, and from there I just dice it up into small, bite-sized pieces.
Okay.
You can even buy them cut up now too as well.
I know. I found that again just to add to the convenience of life, right?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Or you can substitute for regular bacon or prosciutto, any of those kinds of meats that you can cook up, and it has that nice salty flavor.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna add in some of the vegetables now because the garlic's getting hot.
Yeah.
So this is just a white onion slice. I like to julienne it, so nice and thin. So again, just mix all those flavors together.
And
all
again, that
bacon fat.
having the pancetta in there really does add to the overall flavor composition of the dish too, right? Because it's going to give that.
Oh, yeah,
kind
so
of just add some richness to it.
It does give off a lot of nice flavor. Okay, and today I'm going to use some yellow pepper.
Okay.
I like to mix it up because I like to see the colors in the dish. So we put in a little bit of jalapeno. You've got the green. We can finish it off with some greens too. You got the red and the tomato sauce, and so
yellow
that was
peppers are
my
nice.
thought when I chose the yellow pepper.
Well, especially nice because we have so many different colored peppers, right? Orange is nice, and yeah, so it gives you lots of options.
Yeah. So when you're making your pasta, playing around with it, you want to make it visually appealing too, right?
Yes, it's all part of it, right?
Okay, so we'll leave those for a minute, and this is just a fresh jalapeno. We would never use this whole thing because it's too much.
Oh my goodness.
But maybe just a little bit for a little bit of heat. I mean, there is going to be some Cajun spice in with the chicken, but again, it just adds a little bit more color and a little extra flavor. We just chop it off really small.
Right, you don't want to get a big lump of that in there anywhere, right?
Yeah, so just small. There's nothing wrong with adding a little bit of that. So this is for the.
But again, it's a flavor agent. Not only, of course, is it giving you heat, but it's also giving you flavor.
Okay, I'll turn this down. So just keep an eye on it. When you have it so high like this, you don't want anything to be burning.
Yeah, especially that garlic, right? I always find I struggle with that because you're starting off with it, but then sometimes it's starting to cook itself and it starts to get a little bit too bitter. Almost a bitter flavor, doesn't it, when it gets overcooked?
If it's too well done.
Okay. Burn it.
Okay, so moving on. So that's like the base of our sauce there, all those vegetables.
Okay.
This is, I have 2 chicken breasts here, so basically I just slice them into pieces that look similar to that. So little slices, and then this is where I'll mix in my Cajun spice.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, so that kind of coats the chicken nicely, gives it some good flavor.
Yeah, and then we can add it into the pan there. So
All right.
just do it like that, and you do it to your discretion, however much you like. Again, a little bit of heat, but also a lot of flavor. And you just have to be careful because sometimes your Cajun spice that you buy at the store can be very salty. So try to have an idea of what you're working with, and so you don't overdo it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip, right? Because if you don't think about that now, especially if you go to season your dish,
Right.
You want to make sure you haven't added a pound of sodium to it.
Right. Yeah. So in this case, we don't really need to add any salt, but of course, if you want to add pepper, I'm a huge pepper fan. It just adds to the heat. So we can add this just right in to the vegetables.
Okay.
And basically, what I want to do here is let me just switch this. Is just make sure that all the chicken's getting cooked. Okay, so I started off like this in the pan, and we can just leave it for 30 seconds to a minute. Then I flip it, so we're kind of browning the chicken on all sides, and then that's when we add in the tomatoes. So this is approximately half a can to a can of the crushed tomatoes is what I normally get.
Okay.
And we can add that, and then when that's in there, we just basically let it simmer. So when it's simmering, the chicken's going to finish cooking. All the flavors are going to come together, and we'll be almost ready to finish. So I've got the pasta on boiling too.
Right.
So it's just a dried fusilli pasta.
Okay.
Which takes about 10 to 12 minutes or close to that. And so what you want to do is follow the instructions on the box would be your best bet. Cook it the way you like it.
Okay.
And then when we come back and finish, we can mix it all together.
Okay. And again, sometimes it does depend on the pasta. Certain pastas help the little components stick. So fusilli sounds like it would be good because all the little jalapenos and bacon and everything will stick nicely to it. All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll continue to cook this, and we'll come back from break, and we'll show you the final product.
Live color fully at TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, and we are smelling some good smells here in the kitchen right now as we complete the pasta. So pasta's cooked, and the fusilli, and this is really thickened up nicely. Chicken's cooked too.
Yes, so
Good.
that's I drained it as well. Yeah, and then this just simmered for about 10-15 minutes or so with the tomato sauce, and now we add in the sour cream.
Okay, so you're gonna add the sour cream in now and then just blend it. So instead of adding cream, like whole cream in, you're adding sour cream instead.
Yeah.
Now this is obviously full fat cream. Could you use light sour cream in
Yes,
there?
of course.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, of course. So just kind of mix that in.
So that's going to be kind of work nicely with the Cajun spices, I would think, right?
Yes.
It's something about that. That
Yes.
sounds like a really nice combination versus using cream.
Okay, we'll just do a little bit more, and then we'll top it off with some greens. So let me just mix this a little bit more.
And you didn't add any of the pasta water into the sauce. You didn't need to do that.
No,
Okay.
no. But if you like to do that, it's always a good little trick to thin it out a bit, depending on the consistency
Oh, but that looks
that
so
you
good.
want. Okay, so then we can add the pasta in, right into the pan.
That's always nice. It's actually easier for serving that way too, right? Because then it's all done, and then the portions are all balanced out nicely.
Yes. So then just mix everything in there. And like you said, this is a great pasta for the sauce to kind of stick into the...
All right, so what I'll do is while you're continuing to do that, mention our website again, terragreenhouses.com. All of Rachel's recipes that she's ever done on our show are on there, so you can kind of go back in time. You can go through seasons, holidays, and that way you can kind of just follow along with what we've done over the years. But really nice, good, home-cooked meal, better for you than picking up stuff on the way home from work, right? And this is pretty straightforward and easy to make. So a little bit of green onion.
Yeah, green onion, some fresh basil.
Basil.
So we'll just roll this up and give it a, julienne.
Okay, we're officially out of time, Chef Rachel.
Okay, let's get this
There
in the
you
bowl.
go for it, serve it up, make it look pretty. And we'll call it a day here on TERRA at Home. Thanks, Chef Rachel. And again, thanks
Thank
to
you.
Stir Kitchens as well here in Burlington on Grant Street. Lovely.
There we go.